But that's because you fools on other networks, which we gonna become fools next year. We be working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months.
Looks like the behind-the-scenes drama is way juicier than anyone expected. Charles Barkley suddenly getting the spotlight at ESPN while Shannon Sharpe quietly fades into the background. Yeah, this isn't just coincidence anymore. We're talking secret rivalries, backdoor politics, and power plays gone wrong. At first, it looked simple. Shannon stepping back, Chuck stepping up, no big deal, right? But now, leaked audio and some hush-hush chatter suggests there's way more going on. Jealousy, behind-the-scenes sabotage, maybe even some deal blocking. Word is Shannon may have tried to tank Barkley's ESPN deal right when his own career started slipping, partly thanks to that headline-grabbing lawsuit and some sketchy off-camera behavior. But here's where it really gets crazy. Despite Barkley stirring the pot, taking jabs at ESPN, and generally running his mouth, the network's rolling out the red carpet for him. No suspension, no warning, not even a quiet wrist slap. So what's going on? Why is ESPN all in on Barkley while Shannon's vanishing from the spotlight? Was Shannon really trying to get Charles fired behind the scenes?
Y'all that for 2 months? Hey, ESPN, I love you guys. Don't try to make Anthony Edwards the face of the NBA. The face of the NBA is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Joker, and Giannis. You can't give it to people. They have to take.
Insiders at the network say Shannon Sharpe hasn't exactly been clapping since Charles Barkley started popping up more on ESPN, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Barkley's raw takes, wild charisma, and massive fanbase made him a huge win for ESPN after TNT lost the NBA rights. Meanwhile, Shannon's been feeling the heat, especially after that lawsuit dropped, reportedly involving someone barely out of high school. That kind of headline makes execs nervous. Suddenly, every move he made was under a microscope. Now throw in the rumors of Barkley getting a bigger role at ESPN, and Shannon's world started wobbling. Word is, he tried to play some behind-the-scenes chess, talking to higher-ups, dropping hints, maybe even trying to keep Chuck out of the building. Yeah, real sabotage moves. And here's the wild part. Rumor has it Shannon even handed over old dirt on Barkley, thinking ESPN might pump the brakes, but that totally backfired. If anything, it made Barkley look untouchable. Even crazier, the stuff Shannon tried to leak, it wasn't old, it was fresh, real recent controversies people already knew about. Still, ESPN didn't blink, not once. Back in 2022, Barkley signed a massive $210 million deal with TNT, 10 years. But he made it clear from the jump, he's not planning to stay the full ride. Said straight up, I've got maybe 2 years left, then I'm out. He wants balance. He's not gonna grind himself into the ground for a network. And to drive it home, he took a swipe right at ESPN's top dog. I ain't working like no dog like Stephen A. Smith. Boom, that wasn't just shade, that was a shot across the bow. Barkley let everyone know he's not built for that non-stop ESPN hustle, and he's not afraid to say it. Now you'd think ESPN would pause after all that, right? Nope. They rolled out the red carpet like he was the king of NBA coverage, gave him a prime time spot, full creative control, no muzzle, no micromanaging. But here's where things start to heat up. Barkley's got serious doubts about whether ESPN can really capture the magic of inside the NBA.
Tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey,
one.
man.
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are.
Charles Barkley's be loud and clear. He thinks ESPN's about to mess this whole thing up. Too many ads, too much structure, not enough of that real, unfiltered talk fans actually tune in for. And you know what? He's not alone. Even media insiders and TV critics are starting to sound the alarm. Barkley didn't sugarcoat it. He flat out said ESPN is gonna ruin the magic. And let's be honest, this isn't coming out of nowhere. ESPN has a long history of keeping everything a little too polished, too stiff, too corporate. It's all about sticking to the script, looking sharp in a suit, and playing it brand safe. But TNT, they let Chuck be Chuck, no filter, no fluff. That's what made Inside the NBA legendary. ESPN, on the other hand, has a track record of shinking big personalities down to size. If you don't fit their mold, you're out. But Charles, he couldn't care less about fitting in. Remember when he slammed one of TNT's own spin-offs and called it the stupidest thing I've ever seen? He said that on the record. Anybody else would have been quietly shown the door, not Chuck, still cashing checks, still untouchable, even after he trashed ESPN for jumping the gun on hyping up Anthony Edwards. Before the kid had even faced any real playoff pressure, what did ESPN do? Nothing. No suspension or public slap on the wrist. Just business as usual. Now imagine you're Shannon Sharpe, sitting back and watching all this unfold. He was reportedly in talks for a massive $100 million deal. Huge, then boom, here comes the lawsuit, that messy Instagram Live moment, and whispers of tension behind closed doors. Suddenly, everything stalls. Meanwhile, Barkley walks in, tapes jabs at the network on air, even questions their entire approach, and what happens? They roll out the red carpet, praise him, protect him, promote him. And Shan? He's left wondering what the hell just happened. That kind of double standard. Yeah, that's gotta sting.
Oh, come on, man.
But in all sincerity, I'm extremely embarrassed that a very, very private, intimate situation, the audio.
Word is, once Barkley caught wind that Shannon may have tried to block his ESPN deal, that's when he snapped back. Live on air. He said he's too expensive and can't be fired. That wasn't just a flex, it was a warning shot. Chuck knows exactly how the game works, and he knows ESPN needs him a lot more than he needs them. That's when the whole energy shifted. Instead of cleaning up his own mess, Shannon allegedly went on defense, trying to dig up dirt on Barkley to make himself look better. But let's be real, it's not coming off smart. It's looking desperate. Insiders say Barkley sees it all, and he's not amused. He's been telling folks privately he's not here for sneaky backdoor drama. Chuck doesn't do boardroom beef, but if you come at him, he'll call it out. Lighting clear. No PR spin, no corporate lingo. While Barkley's out here sealing major deals and living stress-free Shannon's career, it's starting to look like a slow motion crash. Some are even calling it a case study in how to fumble your own bag. And here comes the elephant in the room stomping through Shannon Sharpe's career, that $50 million lawsuit. A woman named Gabriela Zinga has accused Shannon of serious misconduct and threatening behavior. She says their relationship started when she was barely legal. Now, look, we don't know all the facts yet. The case is still unfolding. But what's clear, that lawsuit hit hard, and it didn't stop there. Just weeks before the news broke, Shannon accidentally left his Instagram live running. And let's just say, what people saw, not a good look. Social media lit up. One commenter said, Shannon Sharpe ruined his own career. He can't blame nobody but himself. And another chimed in.
I said, even though the name changes, the engine is still the same. And to that new network we coming to, we're not coming to F around. And since it's the last show, I'm gonna say it. We're not coming to F around. We kicking our, we taking names, and we take.
Sounds like Shannon's heated, and not just a little, because Barkley got his raise. Jealousy. Yeah, it's all over this. And honestly, folks aren't shy about saying it. Let's keep it real. Barkley's a legend. Whether you're a fan or not, the guy's solid, always authentic, always funny, and always shows up. But here's the kicker. Charles isn't pulling up to ESPN alone. He's bringing the whole inside the NBA crew with him. That's right, Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, even some of the behind-the-scenes staff are making the move. Same energy, same chemistry, just with an ESPN logo slapped on the front. Meanwhile, while Shannon's out here trying to hang on, Barkley's been playing chess, quietly setting up what looks like a full-on ESPN takeover. And this ain't just a promotion. This is a replacement. Sources inside ESPN are already whispering that Barkley's new show is set to become the cornerstone of their entire NBA coverage, which could mean Shannon, and maybe a few others, are about to get pushed even further into the background. Oh, and the talk is that Barkley might even get a say in who gets to join him on air. That's not just clout, that's power. The kind of power Shannon used to have, but clearly doesn't anymore. And here's the wild theory going around right now. What if ESPN actually wants this drama? Think about it. Controversy keeps people watching, keeps the headlines coming, and right now, everyone's talking.
The Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about.
Viewers are glued to this story. The headlines won't quit, and Barkley vs. Shannon is trending every single week. And you know what that means. ESPN's raking in the cash. So maybe the network's just letting the tension simmer while they count the clicks and cash behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Shannon's image keeps taking hits, left and right, and it's not just the press piling on. Word is, behind closed doors, he's been real bitter, especially after his contract didn't get bumped up to match Barkley's massive payday. Add to that, insiders say ESPN's been slowly edging him out ever since that lawsuit surfaced, and the internet, yeah, they're not pulling punches either. One brutal comment flat out said, Shaq ain't out here chasing barely legal girls. He earned that bag. Shannon fumbled. Don't hate. Harsh, no doubt, but that's the vibe right now. People are connecting the dots, and the pattern's getting clearer. And speaking of patterns, let's talk about the next twist in this saga. Because there's one more person Shannon is reportedly blaming for his fall from grace. And here's the shocker no one saw coming, Shaquille O'Neal.
Making no job, and I know how, number one, the most important thing is how much I'm going to work. That's been my biggest gripe, to be honest with you. Like, well, how much am I going to work? I mean, the notion that I'm gonna work more as I get older, that's just not.
Shaq and Charles Barkley are sliding right into the spotlight Shannon Sharpe thought he had locked down. Sure, TNT lost the NBA rights, but Shaq and Chuck, they're landing smooth at ESPN, straight into the prime time seats Shannon figured were his. If you've been paying attention, you already know there's been tension between Shannon and Shaq for years. Shady jabs in interviews, little shots on Instagram, petty but very real. Well, that Cold War may have just gone nuclear. A leaked audio clip just hit the internet, and it's wild. It allegedly catches shit talking to a known media fixer, the kind of person who digs up dirt on public figures. In the clip, a voice that sounds exactly like Shaq says, "Sign me something Neil, it's Shanig. I know it's there. I want the stuff that'll stick." The fixer replies, "Oh, let me work on that. That one's tricky." And not long after that, boom, the lawsuit against Shannon drops. And just like that, his media empire starts crumbling. Coincidence, or something way more calculated? Meanwhile, ESPN's watching it all go down. And even though they're still publicly backing Shannon, insiders say it's a different story behind the scenes. Quietly, they're facing him out. Why? Because Barkley's already been greenlit for his own NBA studio show. And rumor is he'll help choose the new on-air lineup too. That's not just presence, that's power. The kind of power Shannon used to have. And here's the kicker, why would ESPN hold on to someone caught in lawsuits and scandal when they've got Barkley? A guy who brings ratings, sells ads, and just keeps it real. ESPN's future, it's loud, bold, personality-driven content. That's why they brought in Pat McAfee. That's why Stephen A. Smith is basically everywhere. And now, Barkley's next in line. Insiders say his name is all over internal pitch decks. They're positioning him as the everyman voice of the NBA, unfiltered, honest, funny, and a business machine. That's the role Shannon used to chase. But now, that dream's slipping away. Instead of cleaning up his image, Shannon's been playing defense, rumored to be leaking stories and trying to drag Barkley down. But instead of strategy, it's starting to look like pure desperation. So where does this go? Barkley's future is locked in. He's already said he's got a couple years left before he retires. Until then, he's cashing checks, doing it his way, and laughing all the way to the bank. In trusts, he's not losing sleep over Shannon. But Shannon, if he doesn't pivot fast, clean up his name, and regain control of the narrative, this might be the beginning of the end. He had the spotlight, he had the respect, but right now, it's looking like a major fall off. Still, let's not count him out just yet. Shannon's name still holds weight. He's got fans. And if he can put this lawsuit behind him and pull a media comeback, something like a Joe Budden-style reinvention, he could bounce back. But let's be real, that cozy ESPN seat, it's slipping fast. So now I gotta ask, was Shannon really plotting behind the scenes to take Chuck down? Or is this all just a messy cover up for his own collapse? Is ESPN making the right call by going all in on Barkley? And most importantly, can Shannon Sharpe bounce back? Or did he just fumble the biggest bag of his career? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and stay tuned for the next deep dive, because in this media game, one slip and it's game over.